Hi, everyone. Let's talk about the book of Revelation. I'm just going to wait till people come in. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to chill. Hello, everyone. How are you all? Let me know in the comments who's here. We'll get started on this. I'm going to see how many people come in before I actually go live. Not go live. I'm going to see how many people are actually in here before I actually start this. So I'm going to give it a little while for the people to start pouring in. Yep. How are you guys in the chat? Let me know how you guys are doing. It might be too early to do this, to be honest. I might have to push this back for the afternoon. We'll see how many people show up, though. Guys, do you have any questions? Any questions that you want to start off with before? We'll do an open forum. We'll ask questions, and we'll talk about the book of Revelation a little bit later. Ow. Guys, make yourselves known in the chat, please. Let me know who's here. My hip is acting up. All right, some people are coming into the chat. Some people are coming into the room. We're going to start this off in about 15, 20 minutes or so, depending on how many people show up. I might have to push this for later, but we'll see. The idea. Jay Engram. This is my first time watching your live stream. Thank you for your information. Well, we got everything, Jay Engram. We got everything. We got two cats fighting constantly, so you're just going to hear this whole time because this is where I'm recording from. We've got the book of Revelation. We've got some good stuff coming today. So thank you. Where are you from? And how did you find my work? I'm going to let more people come in. I don't like sharing information until there's a decent amount of people in the room, because then they're either going to have to A, go back and watch it from the beginning, or B, it's just a pain in the butt. So I like to make sure we have a bunch of people in here. Alabama. Brother, you're in the freaking Bible Belt down there. I got a friend in Alabama. Damn. Must be hard having these kind of beliefs and views when you're in the Bible Belt. I can only imagine. So we're not really drawing that many people in today. Maybe it's just because of the time. What day is today? Well, it's Sunday. It's Sunday at 10:30. It is very hard. What part of Bama, if you don't mind me asking? Because I got a friend down there. Yeah, let me know what part of Bama. I'm in New York currently right now, but tomorrow I'll be back down in Tampa. We'll have this started. Just want to see some people come into the room, or I might just do this later. I don't know. If I end up doing this later, guys, we'll just make this an. Okay. Good morning, Mr. Dang. Tuning in from Southern Saskatchewan. First found you on Facebook back in 2017-ish, right before your first book drop. God damn, that is a long time to be following me, and for me not to know who you are on Facebook. Send me a DM on Facebook letting me know who you are. Chances are we probably already talk, but I just don't recognize your screen name. So if it's not that I don't know, it's just that people have different names on different platforms, and I can't keep up with all of it. I just can't. I try my very best to talk to everyone and to share my information, and if anybody has any questions or help, absolutely. But I don't recognize your name. Near Auburn. Fantastic. Okay. I can't remember what city she's in. But I'll look into it. I'm surprised that Canada actually allows my work, because my work's been banned from TikTok. I'm surprised Canada's not on the same. I mean, Canada sucks. I'm sorry to say this to you. It just sucks. Trudeau is a absolute goon. What about the Ford mayor? Was it Rob Ford, the mayor of Toronto, that was smoking crack and banging hookers and then kept his job? I don't know what's happening in Canada, to be honest. Saskatchewan is cool. Yeah. Okay. I'm sure a lot of Canada is very beautiful. That doesn't mean that the people that govern it are. So I just wanted to share that. Yeah, that's basically it. So, yeah. Let me see here a sec. We got DJ Emo. Could you ever do a presentation of religion and faith in general and put it into order as per date and discovery, etc., or where it came from in the first place? Who replaced the source worship? You know what, DJ not Emo. DJ Emo. I'm gonna do that, but it's gonna be between the comments and between how long this video takes to do. It's gonna be about a 3-hour day, maybe a 3.5-hour day. Most people can't hang on that long, but I will do a live with this information that you have asked. I have a presentation, and I will do that for sure. They're a bunch of retards. Bring back the word retarded. It is such a good word. It is such a good word to describe so many people who just are. Mega work, no doubt, but you are built for it, I think. Well, thank you. I try. DJ Emo. I definitely try. This will be done. Retard is a word from a bakery. Retard. There were 3 words used to describe mentally handicapped people over the course of time. You had retard, you had idiot, and you had imbecile. And all 3 of them are now used to describe socially awkward people, which is where it belongs. Or people that don't know what they're doing online. But let's let a couple more people come in, and we'll get started. So, guys, let us know in the chat. People who are watching, who are you? Where'd you come from? What are you looking for? What problems you've had with religion? How you found me? Just anything in general. It was used by some shallow minds in my youth. Another term was spastic too. Decrescendo. Okay. We'll start in about 5, 6, 7, whatever minutes. Just let some more people come in. Mentally deficient people usually got that tag by the lesser educated social folk. Yeah. But we live in a society now where we can't use harmful words because people's feelings get hurt. It just weakens everything. If I ever saw anyone with any difference to myself, I usually thanked my maker. Tychos again. Hello, Micah. Let reason prevail. Thank you. All right, so we got a decent amount of people in. Can you guys knock it off? I got this 5-month-old kitten, black kitten, and I've got a 20-year-old black cat. And the little one just goes after the big one, and then the big one just slaps him once and knocks him across the room. And it's like Ace Ventura in this house. How will we survive in the coming transhumanism era? How can we... About Phoenix event. We will survive the transhumanist era by not allowing our consciousness to be put or transferred into a machine. You guys know why they want people to live forever, right? I mean, there's one reason. You guys know why they want people to live forever and push this transhumanist agenda, right? It's because if you're dead, you can't pay taxes. So they want to keep you alive so they can keep milking you. And you know that taxes are illegal, right? Taxation is theft. And they tell you that your federal income taxes are voluntary. And they bury this in law books. Not in law books. They bury this in the rule of the land. But that's why they want you to continue, because, you know, flesh and bone melts away, but a robot that has your mental capacity to do a job, that's why. Thanks for the introduction to the box saga. It was very refreshing. You're welcome. There was a couple of videos on that. Usury. Exactly. That's what we're talking about here. Money is only supposed to be coins. Legal money is supposed to be coins, gold and silver, things of that nature. It is not supposed to be cotton paper that are basically debt note traders. So I'm going to give it another 2 minutes. You guys have any more questions before we start? I'll give it a few. Can you knock it off? This is the 5-month-old cat. Hey, say hi. Say hi. And he attacks the bigger one. Our currency is our sweat equity. Oof, that's a really good way to put it. Absolutely. Heather of Scots, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome. Guys, let me know who else is here, and we'll get started very shortly. Okay, we're going to get started now. The book of Revelation. What do you guys know about Revelation so far? Please tell me what you guys already know. Great podcast to check out. The Hidden Life is Best. It's about the Shakespeare Project. I think you'd like it. Send me a link. Tony's here. Hey, Tony. What's up, brother? The elites want depopulation because they know what happens to them once we are all, well, crowded. Depopulation is a myth. And it was started, I forget what institute. Was it Tavistock? Was it the Rockefellers? I forget who started it. But overpopulation is a myth. You could take every single person on Earth, or every family on Earth, give them a 2,000-foot square home in Alaska, and they would all fit. You can put every single person on Earth in the Grand Canyon and still have room for more. Anyway, depopulation is a myth. It goes back to, from my understanding, the Book of Emmanuel, which calls for 500 million people to be left on Earth. I didn't know if I trusted Billy Meyer, but I've heard from some people that I respect that Billy Meyer is actually not a fraud. So one day I would love to talk to this dude. Martha is here. Martha, how are the books coming along? What number are you up to? Share what you think. All right, let's start. The Book of Revelation. Let's do the 12 signs. The first sign is Aquarius, which is represented by the man with the water pitcher. So the keywords are son of man, man, because this is a sign of the man, whereas Virgo is the sign of the woman. Baptism, because this is a baptism. Water pitcher, fountain, stream, river, pond, lake, ocean, sea. Aquarius is an air sign, but it has water in it. Therefore, they used it to encode water. Pisces is the sign of the two fish in the water. It's the same deal, just the water. Whether it's Aquarius or Pisces water depends on the patterns that it will make, depending on which one you choose. Sometimes they actually let you know. If they say like salt water, that's Pisces, because Aquarius is obviously fresh water. Spring, fountain. Here it would be like, ocean, river, for example. Aries is the ram, and in Aries you have March 21st, which is the spring equinox. It's a 12-hour day, 12-hour night. It's also the Passover, or the passing over of the sun over the equator and back on its way to its height in the summer solstice. The Jewish one is when the angel of death passes over all the houses in Egypt, and anyone that doesn't have the lamb's blood, which is a baby ram, smeared on their doorpost to identify themselves as the people of Aries. I don't know why God would need that, but that's what it's talking about. The Christianity becomes the resurrection of God's Son. So whenever you're talking about ram, lamb, shepherd, or ram's horn, you're talking about Aries. Taurus is the bull, and when you look at the sky and you see Taurus during the season where it's supposed to be, you know that you need to put the plow on the bull so that you can plant the seeds so you can harvest in Virgo and Libra. So whenever you're talking about bull, ox, calf, or cow, that's Taurus. Gemini is the twins. It's the story of Castor and Pollux Troy, whose sister was Helen of Troy. It's the story of Achilles. So whenever you're talking about twins or brothers, that's Gemini. Cancer is the crab, and it's the sideways moving creature. Just as the sun rises a degree on its axis starting December 25th, it's going to stop on June 21st. Then for 3 days, it rises to the same degree, hence moving sideways. And then on June 25th, it lowers a degree. The crab in the ancient Egyptian times was known as the scarab. So whenever you're talking about beetle for scarab or crab, that's Cancer. There's other examples of Cancer. You have the dog, Canis Major, Canis Minor. You have Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, the Great Bear. You have the honey from the beehive cluster, the group of the asterism, the group of stars. You have the beginning of the ship, that's Argo. There's a lot going on in Cancer, basically. It's not just the crab and the scarab. Leo is the king, the lion, the king of the savannah. The ruling planet of Leo is actually the sun. So whenever you're talking about lion, a lioness, or cub, that's Leo. Virgo is the woman holding the wheat stalk. Remember before when you were saying that you planted Taurus? Well, the virgins would cultivate the wheat in Virgo in order to make the bread for the year. So whenever you're talking about virgin, wheat, grain, seed, barley, or corn, all grainy things that were harvested in the northern hemisphere thousands of years ago when these holy texts were written, that has to do with Virgo. Libra is the balance, the justice, the scales. He's the just one. The reason it's the justice is because it's going to judge God's sun as it passes over, or technically passes under, the fall equinox and begins its descent into winter, into cold, into death. Libra is also wine season. So whenever you're talking about grapes in Taurus, you plant in Taurus, and then you can press the wine here. Libra is also olive oil season. So all law-related things like law, judge, justice, the just one, divorce, marriage, court, wine vineyard, wine press, grapes, olive oil, that is all Libra. Scorpio is the scorpion, and he is the betrayer. When a scorpion bites you, it leaves an imprint in your skin that looks like a pair of lips, or when it stings you, when it attacks you, basically. It's why the mafia has the kiss of death, and it's why Jesus was betrayed by Judas with a kiss. So the sun is judged in Libra, and it's betrayed in Scorpio. And then you have Sagittarius. This is where the bow and the arrow shoot and inflict further punishment on the sun. This is where the sun dies. Why? Because on December 21st, the sun is at its lowest point. It cannot rise any lower. It's dead. It's the dead of winter. It remains at that lowest level for 3 days, which is why Jesus was dead for 3 days. When on December 25th, or the birth of God's son, it rises another degree and starts to make its way back up to the top. So whenever you're talking about horse, bow and arrow, spear, or horseman, that's Sagittarius. And then you have Capricorn, who's the goat because he likes to climb the mountain. And if you look at the zodiac wheel, Capricorn's all the way at the bottom. And it's going to start to climb up the great mountain, or the yearly cycle, going to the left a degree a day till it's height in Cancer. And then it's going to walk sideways for 3 days and then start to lower a degree a day, cross over the fall equinox. Then it's going to die in Sagittarius the last day, December 21st. It's going to walk sideways for 3 days, and it's going to come back to life in Capricorn. It's going to start to climb all over again in Capricorn. So let's see what kind of questions we have, or what kind of comments we have. Let's see here. Hi, Amanda. It's good to see you here. I'm on the first one. I love your style of writing. You take us on a journey in a very clever way. Well, thank you. That's what I was going for. It's, writing is an interesting thing because you need to find your voice. And my writing voice is very much like the voice that I talk to you guys with. It's very similar. Wise ass, sarcastic, knowledgeable, mind-blowing stuff. I try to build all that into my book series, Into the Rabbit Hole, which you guys should get, or at least get the first book, or at least before you even get the first book, go on Amazon and look up Beneath the Veil. That is my first book. And look at the AI generated, what do you call it? The AI generated review for it, and read the other reviews too, guys. Read the reviews. Read what other people are saying. Don't just buy my books because I'm saying it, But definitely, the first book is $17, and it's just take an adventure, guys. Trust me on this. I've put as much work into my book series as I have into what I'm doing here, and it's very similar, and I teach in a very similar way. You will learn a lot about astrotheology through the book series. I promise you. He's a very smart cookie, Martha. Oh, thank you, Amanda. I need you to come around more often and say that kind of stuff. I like hearing that. Thank you. All right. So let's start. I think we're caught up on all the comments, right? All right. Let me just make sure you guys can see it. Yep. John's vision of Christ. I turned around to see the voice that was speaking to me. And when I turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands. And among the lampstands was someone like the Son of Man, dressed in a robe reaching down to his feet and with a golden sash around his chest. The hair on his head was white like wool. Where does wool come from, guys? And white as snow. His eyes were like a blazing fire. His feet were like bronze glowing in the furnace, and his voice was like the sound of rushing waters. In his right hand he held 7 stars. You guys know what the 7 stars are? You will in a minute. And coming out of his mouth was a sharp double-edged sword. His face was like the sun shining in all its brilliance. Among the lampstands was someone like the Son of Man. This references Aquarius, the sign of the man, the Son of Man with the golden sash around his chest. What's gold? The sun. So the sun is an Aquarius. Hair on his head was white like wool, which comes from a sheep or ram, referencing Aries. His eyes were like a blazing fire. Now it's talking about the blazing sun in Aries. His voice was like the sound of rushing waters. This is referencing Aquarius again. In his right hand he held 7 stars. This is literally speaking about the Pleiades. Revelation 4:7. The first living creature was like a lion. The second was like an ox. The third had a face like a man. The fourth was a flying eagle. You guys know that people actually believe this creature is going to be in the heavens, right? They're looking up for it any day. They're just staring in the sky, looking for this 4-headed creature. The first living creature was like a lion. That's Leo. The second was like an ox. That's Taurus. The third had a face like a man. That's Aquarius. The fourth was like a flying eagle. Let's explain the eagle. In astrology, the Scorpio is the belly-crawling creature. It's the lowest form of life on Earth. It's a punishment. What is the first thing God does in the Garden of Eden after the deception happens? He takes the snake's legs away so it has to slither on its belly. In Mexico, during Santo de la Muerte, men get all dressed up, and they either crawl on their knees or on their belly to church. And there was an article recently out about these people that crawled 600 feet, going from one knee to another, crawling. It's a humbling thing, is what it is. You're coming in a humbling experience. But its evolved form of Scorpio is the eagle, and the eagle is the highest flying form of life on Earth. So the lowest form of life on Earth, the highest form of life on Earth. The eagle evolves again into the phoenix. What is the story of the phoenix, guys? It's what I've been telling you for 4 years now. The story of the phoenix is a flaming ball of life that dies and rises from its ashes. It's the hero's journey. It's the story of Christ. It's the same thing. Anyway, so Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio are the 4 fixed signs. Now, here's the other thing, too. Leo, the lion, and Aquarius, the man, are opposing signs. Taurus, the bull, and the eagle, or Scorpio, are opposing signs. So, is it more likely the first living creature was like a lion, the second was like an ox, the third had a face like a man, the fourth was like a flying eagle? Is this a real creature, or are they just showing you this pattern right here, this X through the Zodiac wheel? I don't know if you guys can see the red, but let me open it up real quick. No, I can't do that. I got to make a black marker. Let's see here. I'm just going to leave the red for now, but you guys do see it, right? You see the X that makes. Revelation 5:5. Then one of the elders said to me, "Do not weep. See, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, has triumphed. He is able to open the scroll and its 7 seals." Well, the Lion of Judah is Leo. Revelation 6:1. I watched as the Lamb opened the first of the 7 seals. Then I heard one of the 4 living creatures, which we just discovered, right? In Revelation 4:7, the 4 living creatures say in a voice like thunder, "Come." Well, guess what? The Lamb has to open the first seal because the Lamb is Aries, and Aries opens the year. So it has to open the first one. Now, what's said in a voice like thunder, this is an interesting phrase that they use, a voice like thunder. In Hebrew, right? In Hebrew, the word for thunder translates to voices. So when they're telling you that Moses was up on the mountain and he heard thunder, is what they say. There are voices. They thought that the thunder was God talking to him. And then he came down and his face was all red. Well, because he was on a volcano. He didn't see God. But that would be that. Revelation 6:2. I looked there, and before me was a white horse. Its rider held a bow. Who's the horse with the bow? An arrow. And the rider? Sagittarius, right? Before the Lamb stood Sagittarius, the white horse, its rider with a bow and an arrow. Sagittarius is where the sun dies, guys. December 21st. That's the last day of Sagittarius. So the death, when they're talking about a death, that's actually a thing that happens. That's December 21st. So the death is Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the horseman. There are 4 gospels where Jesus dies. That's why there are 4 horsemen of the apocalypse after Jesus dies. It's signs of Sagittarius 4 times. Then I heard what sounded like a voice among the 4 living creatures saying, 2 pounds of wheat for a day's wages, 6 pounds of barley for a day's wages, and do not damage the oil and the wine. The wheat is the lady with the wheat stalk, Virgo. The barley, which makes the beer, is also harvested in Virgo. And that's Virgo. And the oil, the olive oil, that's Libra. And the wine is Libra too. Well, guess what? The wine and the oil is Libra. The wheat and the barley is Virgo. Those are connecting signs on the zodiac. And they've given you 4 examples right here to show you that. I watched as he opened the 6th seal. There was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair. The whole moon turned blood red. And the stars in the sky fell to earth as figs dropped from a fig tree when shaken by a strong wind. The sun turned black like a sackcloth made of goat hair. The moon turned blood red. Figs dropped from a fig tree. The goat is Capricorn, and it's black because Saturn is the ruling planet of Capricorn, which is known as the black planet. Jews wear a black cube on their forehead. The Muslims worship around the Kaaba. It's Saturn worship, guys. The moon turned blood red. Now, directly across from Capricorn is Cancer. That's an opposing sign pattern that we make. The ruling planet of Cancer is the moon. Then I heard the number of those who were sealed, 144,000 from the tribes of Israel. I've heard many explanations for this, but the one that resounds strongest with me, there are 7 chakras. The root has 4 petals, the sacral has 6, the solar plexus has 10, the heart has 12, and the throat has 16, which equals 48. The third eye chakra is represented by 96 and only has 2 petals because it's 2 times as powerful as the lower chakras. So 48 times 2 is 96. The crown chakra is 1,000 times more powerful than the lower 6 chakras. When you add the lower 6, you get 96 plus 48 equals 144. And times that by 1,000, you get your 144,000. What it's saying is when you've activated all your chakras, the 7 of them, you get to go see God. And that's what they did. And those are the 144,000 that get to go see God. We can all do it. You just have to activate your chakras. And if you don't think that this isn't brought from Hinduism or anything, has no effect on the Bible, I haven't studied it that deep, you would also have to know that Abraham and Sarah, or Abram and Sarai, are Brahma and Saraswati. They're just pulled from an equally old group as the Jews, known as the Hindus. Revelation 9:3, and out of the smoke locusts came down on the earth and were given power of that of the scorpions on earth. The locusts came down on earth and were given powers like the scorpion, given powers like Scorpio. So what is the scorpion, guys, that I talk about, that I explain? He's the betrayer, right? That's what the scorpion does. He's the betrayer. Now, the locust is interesting because if you're talking about locusts in Leviticus 11, there's a section that explains what is good to eat. And they tell you that you can't eat any bugs except for certain ones that have jointed legs, like katydid, grasshopper, locust, for example. So it's a food, right? They consider it a food from the Bible. This is why everyone's trying to get you to eat bugs. Or all these people are like, grasshoppers are so nutritious and this and that. I know there's people that eat them. I get that. But like mass eating them, it's not a cultural thing for many people. But they're trying to push the eating of bugs onto people because they hate you. Is basically it. So the locusts are food. But guess what? In a massive amount of them, they're a plague. So you have to look at it like this. Locusts are food. That's a good thing. But they can also be a plague. That's the betrayal. It's the betrayal of what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be something good for you, but it's not. So that's the power of the scorpion, to betray. The locusts look like horses prepared for battle. On their heads, they wore something like crowns of gold, and their faces resembled human faces. Their hair was like women's hair, and their teeth were like lions' teeth. They had tails with stingers and like scorpions. So the horse is Sagittarius. They wore a crown of gold, or the sun in Sagittarius. Their hair was like woman's hair, that's Virgo, and their teeth were like lion's teeth, that's Leo. Leo and Virgo are connecting signs. They had tails with stingers, like scorpions. Well, that's Scorpio. Revelation 12. A great sign appeared in the heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon, with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns on its head. Its tail swept a third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to earth. A woman clothed with the sun is the sun clothed in Virgo. It's just a metaphor. You know how they say it's like a crown or a, well, for example, crowns of gold, for example, they explain that. So when we talk about this, a woman clothed with the sun is just a metaphor for the sun being in Virgo. Now, if the sun is in Virgo, the moon will be at her feet. So there's a 24-hour-a-day clock, and there's 12 zodiac signs. So the sun spends 2 hours a day in each single sign. And if you time that, when the sun is actually in Virgo, that's between 4 and 6 p.m. Now, I don't know about you, but when I'm outside and it's between 4 and 6 p.m., if the sun is clothed in Virgo, or a woman clothed with the sun, well, if the sun is still out, then the moon is at her feet. Not literally, but yes, right? The sun is up, the moon is down. The moon is up, the sun is down. It's the same thing. Now, another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous dragon. Its tail swept a third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to earth. Across from Virgo, you will have a constellation called Draco the Dragon. It goes from Aries to Sagittarius. So Pisces, which is part of it, is its opposing sign. So this dragon constellation is literally facing the woman, right? And its tail goes from Aries to Sagittarius, which is why it sweeps a third of the stars out of the sky, because that's 4 out of the 12 signs. Aries to Sagittarius, the tail on Draco. You can see it on the left. So is that more realistic, guys? Or is it more realistic that there's actually going to be a dragon and a pregnant woman in the heavens during the end of times? Let's just use our minds here. The beast I saw resembled a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear and a mouth like that of a lion. So leopard is Camelopardalis, and it's the pardalis part. That's in Gemini. The bear is Ursa Major, which has to be in Cancer, right? So those are connecting signs. And a mouth like that of a lion. Well, the lion is Leo. Well, guess what? You have Gemini, Cancer, and Leo. Those are 3 signs in a row, guys, in Revelation 13:2. It's a 1-sentence thing, and they're telling you of 3 connecting signs in the heavens. This is how they're embedded. Then I saw a second beast coming out of the earth. It had 2 horns like a lamb, that's Aries, but it spoke like a dragon. So the dragon is Draco, and that's Aries to Sagittarius. So this is basically talking about Aries. Cargoes of cinnamon and spice, of incense, myrrh and frankincense, of wine and olive oil, notice they're paired together, of fine flour and wheat, notice they're paired together, cattle and sheep, notice they're paired together, horses and carriages, and human beings sold as slaves. So myrrh and frankincense, guys, that the 3 wise men, or Orion's belt, bring to Jesus, myrrh and frankincense are olive plants, so that's Libra. The wine and the olive oil is also Libra. The flour and the wheat, that's Virgo. Those are connecting signs. The cattle and the sheep, that's Taurus and Aries. Those are connecting signs. The sheep and the sheep Aries and the myrrh, frankincense, wine, and olive oil is Libra. Those are opposing signs. The horses is Sagittarius, and the human beings are basically Aquarius and Virgo. And guys, that's Revelation with Astrotheology. It's not really that scary, is it? Oh, we got a ton of people in here. I mean, that's not really that scary, is it? Like, let me see what we got going on here. Wouldn't it make more sense that December 25th be the first day instead of January 1st? No, there's an 8-day period between December 25th and January 1st. That's kept at 8 days for a reason. And the Jews also have an 8-day period from their new year until the Day of Atonement or the Day of Judgment. December 25th would be the astrological, absolutely. But the first day should not even be in the winter. The first day is in spring. The first day has, for the most part, always been in spring for thousands of years. The Egyptians had the first day in Virgo, which is why the sun comes to an end in Leo, and then a brand new sun is born again to a virgin in Virgo, where everyone harvests and this and that happens. That's when it happens. January 1st, the only reason January 1st is the new year is because it causes, you have Sirius at its height at midnight on December 31st, or dog star, or binary star. Follow it straight down, you have Earth. Follow it straight down, you have the sun. It's a perfect alignment. And that's why it's January 1st. In fact, they show you this falling alignment when they drop the ball at Times Square every year. That's what they're showing you. Just people don't seem to know that. I will indeed. Like, I'm at work 24/7. I'm sorry. Most people I have in my life are Scorpios. Well, Scorpio sun signs are important, but guys, your personality is based off of your rising sign, which is your ascendant. So you have your big 3, right? Your sun, your moon, and your rising. It's not just based on your sun sign. You have Scorpios that are peaceful as hell. It depends on your chart. It's a very real science, guys. That's what I'm trying to show you. I am a ram. Riddle me that. Okay. I'm going to come. Oh, I hope not. Get a towel, dude. For real. But Razor, thank you for being here. Thank you. Like the song Black Hole Sun. I loved Chris Cornell. I loved Soundgarden. He was in Temple of the Dog, and he did the Hunger Strike song. I loved him then. He was an Audio Slave, and he did Like a Stone. I loved him then. Every time that guy touched the mic, it's just beautiful things happen. And he was destroyed because he was into fighting child trafficking. And they did the same thing to him as they did to Cappy. They did the same thing to him as they did to... what was her name? She was in a what do you call it? She got into a car accident. She was still alive, and then so suddenly she died. Dolores O'Riordan. What they basically do is this. if you're going to be a male that talks about this, what they do to you is they will hang you from a belt in a hotel room. That's what they do to men. For women who talk against the grain, what they do is they drown them in a bathtub. Anytime you hear either of those two deaths, automatically assume that it didn't happen that way. They're starting the eating bugs in schools. Amanda, do you have any children that are at that age? Too much of a good thing isn't a good thing. Thanks, Razor. I feel like I need to take a shower after talking to you. I'm kidding. I like you, Razor. I do. Bugs and insects contain chitins that can't be cooked out. They evolved a long time ago, so we wouldn't use them as a food source. Huh. Eating chitins would lead to sensory shutdown and internal troubles and potentially brain damage. Yeah, but people eat chocolate ants. People eat chocolate, all kinds of bugs, and I don't hear many things happening to them. So how would you explain that? But Klaus said the bugs are a sustainable source of protein. You guys got to get Klaus out of your head. That guy is a Muppet at this stage of the game. He's basically Joe Biden. He's just old and useless, and they can't do anything with him. The guy you got to worry about is Yuval Noah Harari, who's basically Klaus's brain for the last God knows how long. Dangerous mind. Very dangerous person. He'll be in second end this year. It's crazy in Illinois. I can imagine. I moved from New York to Florida. I couldn't deal with New York anymore. They had cat litter pans down for kids. I heard that was a rumor. Is that really true, Amanda? For people that identify as cats, they're allowed to shit in the classroom? Really? Please tell me I'm not reading that right. But guys, that was Revelation. And I see a bunch of people in the room. I appreciate you guys coming. Let me know what you think of that, please. Let's start talking about this. The book of Revelation, guys. Is it as scary as as people tell you it is? Well, maybe if you read it literally, but that's not what we do here, right? We look for patterns and we explain things that are difficult to imagine. Muppets love that comment. Which one? Which one, Tony? Thanks for being here, Tony. So, guys, I don't take painkillers. I don't like the way they make me feel. This is my only painkiller. So forgive me if I'm all right, here we go. Uncut Funk. Bible scholars say Rev was written specifically for the 4th century people of Asia Minor to give them hope as they faced impending persecution, and it barely made the cut into the Bible. Well, correct, Uncut Funk. In fact, there are many groups, for example, Baptists, I believe. Don't quote me on this. But there's groups within Christianity, there's minor sects that believe that Revelation has no business in the Bible, and they don't teach it. Infrared treatment, it's starting to become mainstream. Okay. But I've seen the dark at a young age, so nothing surprises me. It just took a while to be seen. In the light. Once you guys see the dark and the light, right? It's just a matter of a decision with what side you want to side with. That's basically it. Now, the true light workers, unless they do something to gather attention very dramatically, they will never get known. Or they will only be known in these small circles. So, guys, you got any questions? Talk to me about Revelation, guys. What do you think? Or just any questions in general, guys. Just throw them at me. I'll give it a couple more minutes, guys, and then I'll Right, my fam was part of the elite. Grandfather flew for JFK. Oh wow, but some stuff went down and I got taken. Oh god. So what are they trying to tell us with the signs and the patterns? They are telling you where things are located, what they're nearby, and it's a fantastic way to learn the 48 signs. I mean, for me, when I discovered this pattern and all the alignments, it helped me learn where the donkey was, the camel was. It helped me learn where everything was. This teaches you the heavens. This teaches you the sky. It's also a farmer's almanac and it's a calendar. That's the wisdom they're hiding, among other things. Is that it, though, or is there a deeper meaning? That's from the astrology point of view. I only talk one science out of the 11 that are in the Bible, or the 12. I only talk one science. Zeitgeist brought it to my attention. What I teach is well beyond what Zeitgeist talks about. Zeitgeist could have been life-changing if they didn't just stick with the common points, if they had actually gotten an astrotheologer on. I've reached out to Peter Joseph, but I haven't heard back. And honestly, when you watch Zeitgeist, it's kind of basic. I go into much deeper things. Mr. Coin, Sidereal or Tropical. I like Tropical, but they were both used to encode. And when I say they were both used to encode, I'm literally just talking about Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer, or the serpent. You have two serpents. You have Ophiuchus, which sits between Scorpio and Sagittarius. And you have Hydra, Hail Hydra. It's a couple signs away. So I prefer Tropical. A lot of the people that I know are Tropical. There are two ways to get to the same thing. If we're at Mr. Coin, if we're at a party, right, and we both leave and get into our own cars and we're going to meet up somewhere, the GPS is going to take us in two different directions, but we're still going to end up at the same spot. That's how this is. Sidereal or Tropical. It depends on which you use, but it's going to change things, but for the most part, it brings you to where you need to go. Bro, do you think Buddhism has an effect on astrology? I haven't gotten into the Eastern yet because I'm still so busy on the Western stuff. So I don't really know. I was raised Christian. The book of Revelation scared the hell out of me. Thanks, Micah, for making it make sense. Well, you're welcome. And for those of you guys who know, I also teach this in my book series, Into the Rabbit Hole. Uncut Funk. I have the Atrahasis. I haven't checked it yet. I haven't looked at the Mahabharata, but I could tell you it is in Gilgamesh and it is in the Enuma Elish, and I've already done that. If you go to my live section in my channel, Uncut Funk, I just recently did this like 2 weeks ago. So go to my live section and find my breakdown of those. Hey, Micah, I can see Revelations explains anatomy and astrology, but do you think the apocalypse side of things is being played out or being done by man as a script by God? That's a very interesting question, and I've been pretty clear on this point, is that I believe, and again, the reason I believe this is because I found astrotheology in all the ancient holy texts, not just the Bible. The Bible is not original. So once you realize the Bible is not original or more special than any of the other ancient holy texts, things change out differently. So what they're basically doing, what's more realistic, that this book is coming to life and it's to be read verbatim, and you are supposed to live by that way. That's why I just did with Rex yesterday. a video of my trip to the Ark exhibit in Kentucky. Because if you want to see what believing word for word means, you got to see that video that I did. They had dinosaurs in the Garden of Eden. I took pictures. I shared it. So just check my interview section. But is it more likely that this book is a literal book that's coming to life? Or that since I found there was astrotheology through all the ancient holy texts, the same writers are writing every holy book, and they're passing it down through generation and generation behind the scenes, and they're tailoring events in order to make it look like prophecy is coming true, right? Because what is the first thing that the Christians do when they think something's going to come? They look at the stars. Why? You know? I have uploaded on my YouTube called The Pharmaceutical Inquisition. It's got some amazing info and astrotheology. Is that what you were trying to say? Good question, good answer. Well, let's see. Was it? The apocalypse has been coming for hundreds of years now. Yes, but when you're in a religion, guys, when you're in a religion and they tell you, look up, it's the end of days. And these are the kind of people that when like their pastor tells them the end of days is coming and they have a date set, it never happens, but these people end up selling all their possessions because they think they're going to heaven. The apocalypse has been coming from hundreds of years now because the religious people are kept in fear of the last thing that they might have done before the rapture. So they're always walking a tightrope of trying not to offend God or any of this. And they just keep looking to the heavens. So let that be like, yeah, but does that make sense to you? Does that actually make sense to you? Let me know if that does. Yeah, I'll just leave it up for a couple more minutes and then y'all, I'll let you go. I might do one later. I really enjoy doing these with you guys every day. Fear-based control. Keep people in their lowest chakra because they're easier to control. Yeah, but Razor, what are your lowest chakras? The red and the orange, right? Isn't it convenient that that's your lowest base carnal instinct? There's no higher knowledge down there. And all the fast food joints are red and yellow too. Now they'll tell you that because they'll tell you that psychologists will tell you that those colors make you hungry on a primal level or things of that nature. It's nonsense. Everything is spiritual, guys. When you realize everything they're doing is either an inversion or a perversion or a spirituality, it could be one of those three. When you realize that that's what's happening, you could see the world a lot different. Upon researching these other ancient texts, it appears that Enlil is both Yahweh and Satan, the Lord of Eden. You too? I haven't really gone into the Anunnaki, to be honest with you. My friend is an expert, though. I will ask him this question. If you can email it to me at intotherabbitholeseries@gmail.com, I will ask him real quick. Well, not now, but I will ask him and then just tell me how to find you with the answer. Or I'll just reply to your email. Yes, the end times was planned just for their time here. It does, but it's deep. It takes time to sink in. Yes, but when you come to that revelation, when you come to that understanding, things are going to make a lot more sense for you. I promise you. Just following. It's all so interesting. Thank you, Marianne. Sorry, bro. Have you ever thought you were wrong about your insights? Just a thought. I'm using a simple keyword cipher, and I've been reading every ancient holy text I can get on, and I've been finding these patterns and the same exact thing for 4 years now, or for 12 years, I should say. But I've only been talking about it for 4. Sometimes the thought crosses in my mind that I might be wrong about the Bible. Of course it does, because that's a very powerful book and it's a very powerful thought to have. But then when I simply sit down and realize or just reflect on the fact that I found these codes and patterns in other ancient historical texts, not historical texts, holy texts, it makes the big difference for me, because then I'm like, well, it doesn't make the Bible original anymore. I mean, I found it in the Book of Mormon, the Quran, all these ancient Egyptian, Sumerian, Babylonian texts. It's the same thing. So I usually feel like I'm on the right track after you decode 70 ancient holy texts the same way. It's almost like I expect it now. And yes, I get excited when I find the first one in a new book. I do. Glad I got to see you and chat with you. I hope you and your loves have an amazing day. Thank you for opening eyes to eyes. You are appreciated always. Thank you, Amanda. Much love, Amanda. Hulkamania t-shirt, red and yellow. Well, Hulkamania basically acted like Hulkster. He acted very, very much like an animal, or just like a. Think about it. It was low bass. I'm gonna hit you. It's low density. But yeah, he was very open with the red and the yellow too. Could be the same reason. I would have to think about it for a little bit, but I've always wondered if the Bible and how it is given to us was the trick. You have these mind perceiving and end times coming. Are we conceiving our own future as suggested creators? No, because people are waking up to this. And let me tell you something, DJ Emo. When you have a new idea and you have to share it with people, right? You don't have to convince 100% of the people that an idea is good for it to take wings and take off. You need to get to 20%. That's the magic number. You only need 20%. You have to understand that every ancient holy text, the Bible, for example, the Quran, the New Testament, the Old Testament, it's all about we're the best and we're slaughtering everybody who doesn't agree with us. And that's the basis of all the religions. The rest is just talking nice about not wanting to talk about that. You are on the money with all, don't doubt yourself. I don't, because I remember that I found this in all these ancient holy texts. If it was just the Bible, God, then I might have an issue with that. But the second I started finding it in outside texts, I was like, this is beyond the Bible. So the Bible can't be literal. It just can't. Apparently, there are 96 books in the Bible. The Vatican only allowed 66. Well, the Ethiopian Bible has 86. And there was a lot more Gospels also that they hid away from them too. Mark, Luke, John, and go. The Vatican needs to be destroyed. Priestess is here. Hey, girl. I'm glad you got some good results out of our last live chat. It was very fun coming to meet you and your friend Christy, and that was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. So keep in touch, please. Anyway, so if you guys have any more questions, I'll answer them. But other than that, I'm gonna go lie down on a couch and relax. Guys, I can't stress this enough. Check out the reviews on Beneath the Veil, Into the Rabbit Hole series. My books are $16.95 each on Amazon. They're under $17. And it absolutely will help you understand the world that has been hidden from us like this does. Only I go into way more secret sciences than this. Opinions on Disciple Judas. Let me read the Gospel of Judas. So I think it's in the Gospel of Judas that Judas was actually asked to be betrayed by Jesus. And there's different stories that come along this. Again, I don't take any of these literal. These are metaphors. Judas is Scorpio, the betrayer. Thomas Didymus is Gemini, the twins. To'am. Is it To'am or Ta'om? To'am. To'am in Hebrew means twin, or Tom. Didymus in Greek means twin. So twin, twin. Thomas Didymus is Gemini. John the Baptist would be Aquarius, the man baptizing people with the water pitcher. These are all parts of the story, guys. These are not literal. I saw on Bull, but there is an audio version of your first book. Yes, Audible made my first 2 books, and we're still trying to get them made because we already started with them, so we can't just pull the rights. But it's just a pain in the ass. My first 2 books are yes, but the rest are not, and I apologize for that. So anyway, guys, I'm going to take off. Much love, guys. I love all of you who are here, even the people who probably disagree with me and never even commented. I am reachable. Debunkmywork.com is my website with all my social media, all my book links, a way to email me at the bottom, and all my social medias. Debunkmywork.com. And I have a video link for every single one of these that I've done. So, guys, thank you very much for being here. And I will, we have 69 people in the chat. That's great. That's just great. Much love, guys, and I will talk to you soon. But definitely, please check out Beneath the Veil and read the reviews. Please do that.